Oh my goodness. Hey everybody. Another long day. I've been thinking about so much, man, and today's gonna be a little different. I'm not digging into the Bible. There's no prayer. Uh, quite frankly, I've been studying too. I've been doing it all, man. When I say doing it all, I don't mean I've been being like mega sinful or whatever. I will confess that I've been struggling with lust and a myriad of other things just out of pure humility. But I haven't really been giving in. I haven't. It's been hard because I'm gonna just dive into the story time right now. Give you some background on where I'm at right now. I've been a long-standing Christian. What that really means to me is devoted follower of Christ. Of course, everyone's got their own connotation of things. But I've been a devoted follower of Christ. I got not to say that baptism. I believe there is one baptism, but uh, I got baptized again for the third time. Kind of ironic if you're a if you're a person who knows biblical themes. And I got baptized for the third time, and it was just a symbolic thing for me that this time I'm really following Jesus, and there's no turning back for me. You know, I've got it. I know Jesus, and to turn my back on him now would be like, I don't know, you have a really good food, and then, you just don't eat it anymore. It's like, what are you doing? Come on, baguettes are great. So, that's a bit of where I'm at, but let me give you even deeper background. So, excuse me. I became a Christian. I couldn't even tell you when, but I went to Sunday school when I was younger because my grandparents brought me. I'll have a little card up here, whatever, if you want to go actually watch my testimony, because I'll give you more background. And then if you want to really know my full testimony, because even that, my testimony is really deep. I dealt with suicide, anxiety, depression. Boy, it's kind of hot in here. And that's a little too deep. I might actually make my full testimony at some point, but just I don't quite want to do all of that because I feel like it's a lot, and to be honest, I was really vulnerable just doing that one. So yeah, where do I even start? Okay, check this. I was 8. I get baptized, and then down the road, I'm really starting to follow Christ. Comes 8th grade after falling out with my dad. He gets into drugs. He's in and out of jail. And then I'm living with my grandparents, going to church every Sunday, and I'm still struggling with this anxiety, this depression. So I really lean on Jesus. I really lean on the Bible. Verses like Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Those are the verses that got me through a lot of days. I was the kind of kid I struggled to find meaning and reason to get out of bed in the morning, reason to do my homework, reason to just try on anything. And being an older brother, I felt the deep responsibility and the urge to do everything and to get everything right the first try. And I don't know if you guys have ever felt like that, but that kind of philosophy, it can get you far, but the problem is you go so far and you crash because you're not running on good gas. And it's funny because I'm writing an anthology right now, a collection of stories. Sorry for using such a big word. But essentially, I'm just writing a lot of short stories, and the theme of these short stories is what gas you're running on. And all of my characters, they're running on a different kind of gas, and you get to see the fruit of it. And basically, how that relates is I was not running on good gas. I wasn't planted in good soil. It's not even that I believed the wrong things or that I did this. It's just I was struggling, and I don't know. I broke down. I had a really big breakdown at the end of 8th grade year, and then I went into 9th grade year, and I was struggling with a lot of depression, a lot of this, a lot of that. And then I just kept getting deeper and deeper in my faith. And then 10th grade year hits, and I'm still struggling, but it's getting better and better. I stopped going to therapy as much because I don't need it, and because more of the responsibility went on me, and then I had to schedule my appointments. But another discussion for another day. So I do this and that, and I really struggled through last semester, which I'm in my 10th grade year right now, and my last semester was my first semester year of 10th grade, and now I'm in my second semester. I started digging into Christian Orthodoxy, which is a loaded term, by the way. I'm not going to define it here. You can do some research if you want, or whatever. And it was because my friend, he's gotten really into Orthodoxy. He was an atheist, and then he was an evangelical Christian, and then he jumped on the boat to Orthodoxy after he had a bit of a falling out. And so he does this all, and you know, I just have seen his continual growth and his new humility and his newfound faith, and it was really beautiful to me. So I just started studying that, and I'm the kind of guy, I've dealt with so much guilt and shame in my life, and I don't know why, but I felt like I betrayed my church and things. I don't know. And I got off the phone with a deacon today, and it sucked because I don't know why, but I was so overwhelmed with emotion, and because emotion is so stigmatized in our culture. I was like crying on my front porch. I was just like, come on, be a man. And it's like, where did I even get that? No one was telling me that I couldn't cry, or I don't know, but I was just so overwhelmed with emotion, and I don't even know why. I couldn't tell you, but it was so hard, and I don't know. He was just telling me all these things, but it's like where I've come at. The way they think about it is of course we're saved by faith alone, and this is, I'm gonna just give you some background on basically, like a lot of the Christians, they have a different way of thinking about things, kind of like just everyone in general. Some people believe it's nothing you do good will save you, and you just have to have a good faith in Jesus or whatever. Other people, like, they're the opposite way around, and then there's people kind of in the middle, and that's where the Orthodox Christians are at. That's where I'm at, right? And so I explained the way I think about faith to this deacon, and then he's like, well, that's orthodoxy, right? But he also tells me that orthodoxy and, quote, Protestantism can't mix, which is, Protestantism is just kind of the rejection of orthodoxy and Catholicism. So I don't know, man. And I've just been so overwhelmed by it all, and my realization is just, you can't study because it's gonna kill you, man. Whether you have a faith or whether you have this, you gotta take a break and be human. And it's taken me so long to realize that, because all I've done my whole life is search for meaning, pretty much. When I was younger, I would literally just sit there and think. I know other kids don't do that. I mean, it's just so yeah, I'm taking a break from studying and everything, but I don't know, I felt like the way I was going about it, I was just trying to deepen my faith, right? I was learning new things like the Jesus prayer. I was just getting into some things, and I don't know, Orthodoxy changed my view on a lot of things when I was studying it, and I feel like it brought me closer to God. But I don't know, I was talking to my pastor, and it seems like I've just been, and even the deacon, he's like, listen, kid, you're filling your mind with all these thoughts and everything, and it's just going to be overwhelming. And it's like, I don't know. And everyone keeps telling me, you gotta listen more, right? Be more humble. Don't let these things fill your mind. And I feel like that's exactly what I've been doing. That's the reason I freaking quit YouTube for so long. I didn't want to think I was on top of the world. I don't know, or like that I had all the knowledge. Because I don't. I try and be really humble. I don't know, it's so hard. Humble man doesn't tell everyone he's humble, right? I'm the most humble man there is. I'm struggling with so many things right now, and it's really nice to just say that. But I will say my confusion, and I think my recommendation to the other Christians out there, especially those struggling with so many different ideas and things, it's you can be a devoted Christian. You can love Jesus and just love other people, or you can just love people, right? I mean, obviously, there's all those philosophical ideas out there. You can just love people, right? I used to just have that view. It's not necessarily that I staked it on Jesus. I think Jesus really helps you to love people because of his radical teachings. But at the end of the day, you can still love people. And in fact, Jesus points out how great that is. I mean, he says the best kind of love is to die for a brother. So for those of you who'd be willing to lay down your life for someone you love, Jesus says that's the greatest kind of love. And so my thing to you is you can be a good, devoted Christian. And the fact that I explained my viewpoint to an Orthodox Christian and he said that's orthodoxy, to me it shows a lot. And that I think they mix more than he knows. And that actually I was explaining to him, like, because he was a Protestant back when, right? He was like 86 now or whatever. And I don't know, he seemed like a really cool guy. We had such a long conversation and everything. But I get home and I walked home and I'm just on the phone with this deacon and we're talking about Protestantism and everything. I'm telling him kind of my view and like my objections to kind of my own faith in a way. But truthfully, these are just my general objections. I have a personal disagreement with like the way we worship and things in the modern culture. I think bring back hymns and stuff would be cool. And just, I feel like a lot of modern worship is me-centered and it's concert-based. I love guys like Forrest Frank, but they have their place, right? And to me, it's at the Moda Center. It's at the place where like the concerts happen. That's where we should have that kind of worship. But when it comes to worship in our churches, it needs to be devout. It needs to be full of reverence, in my opinion, right? And for those of you who aren't Christian, it's like, just think of it like this. If you believe in some kind of God or anything, or like just you have like a deep respect for something, if you're going to go to your dad's house, you're going to talk to your dad, you're not going to like sing a song about how great you are and how your dad has made you greater. That's what? That's silly. No, you'd pull up to him and you'd sing him happy birthday, or you'd sing him, I love you, Dad. I love you, Dad. I love you, Dad. I don't know. I don't know. I've touched on a lot, but I'm pouring out my heart here to all you believers, all you atheists, all you agnostics. I'm not gonna make shorts anymore or anything. I think when I get into things, it's just gonna be Bible studies and story times, because I'm just sick of it all, man. Let me tell you something that's really changed my view on things. There's this French botanist, and he doesn't watch TV, read newspapers or magazines or anything. Sorry, my cat's messing with my thing. Hi, Cody. Hi. Did you want to say hi to everyone? Yes, she does. Oh my goodness, you're silly. You're silly, Cody. So there's this French botanist, and he doesn't read newspapers, he doesn't do any of that, because he actually believes that everything is a form of propaganda, which I kind of agree with, honestly. And it's funny, because there's another story I heard where this Chinese immigrant comes to America, and he's talking to his American friend, and he says, why do you guys watch the news so much? Why do you like do all that, right? And sorry, my cat wanted me. The guy responds and he says, "Oh, well, we got to stay informed. We got to know what's going on around the world and around our country." And the Chinese immigrant goes, "Don't watch all that. It's just propaganda, you know." And he's like, he's like, I think Americans haven't figured out that yet. And I kind of loved that, honestly. I, I really did. Because I feel like it's true. Both the Fox News and the ABC and the CBC and the BBC, they're all designed to just get us to believe some viewpoint. They're not open, biased, or unbiased sources. They're not trying to get us informed. And tell me this, why is everything breaking news now? The whole breaking news thing started with 9/11 in 2001, which, by the way, I wasn't even around for, but as far as I'm concerned, since then, everything's been breaking news. I'm sorry, but to me, 2 buildings crashing down, that's 2 giant buildings that are economic hubs filled with people, that's breaking news. But a cat stuck in a tree, a house on fire, that's not breaking news. Not to devalue that, but that's something that happens every day. And this breaking news society that we're in right now, it's made us so anxiety filled. We don't follow the teachings of Jesus on the Sermon on the Mount. We don't not be anxious about anything, as Jesus says. No, well, we're anxious about everything. We don't pray about anything until the last second, until we absolutely need to. Why don't we talk to God like he's our Father, right? That's how Jesus says we should. It's the Our Father prayer. I know I sound like I'm complaining here, but these are the things I've struggled with. And I used to be anxious about everything. I used to have that mindset. You know, people would tell me, "Oh, you gotta be informed. You gotta be informed." Right? But it's like, I am informed. I probably know what's going on more than a lot of people. Probably because I don't watch the news. I don't know. This cat, she keeps peeing on my bed. I'm really sick of it. That's one thing I've really been fed up with. Oh man, and sleep. Sleep is so important. Psalm says God gives sleep to his beloved. Well, his beloved also have to accept that. And to work for that. Thing is, you can pray for as much sleep as you want, but if you don't actively work to get better sleep, it's not gonna work out for you. Isn't that right, Cody? I'm starting to think this cat loves me. So I've had such a long journey in Christ, and I think, I don't know, in my view, we can get so divided on the little things and the, "Oh, well, I'm a Lutheran, I'm a Baptist, I'm a this, I'm a that." And it's just, I think as Christians are getting into the mindset that most people have these days, where it's, "Oh, I'm non-binary, I'm straight, I'm gay, I'm trans, I'm gender fluid, I'm this, I'm that." Where it's like, we don't have to have a damn title for everything. We don't. We really don't. And we can just be, and I've struggled with this. I'm guilty of this. I'm guilty of this. You don't need a name for everything. You don't need a name for every emotion you're having. You don't need a name to describe every little thing. And I've struggled with that. You can just be. I got that advice from my grandma. It's important to be a human being, not a human doing. And my dad, I love my dad. He tells me a lot. He's like, "Kid, you can't constantly search for the meaning in life. Sometimes you just gotta live." I was talking to my pastor today. He tells me, just enjoy being a teenager. I don't know. I don't know. Do I? Do I just be a teenager, right? He says your youth is fleeting, You gotta enjoy it. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do I just be a teenager? I think that's what everyone does. Just be a teenager. It's hard, just being a teenager. I think people forget how hard that is. They go and they live their lives and they find which religion or faith they're gonna adhere to, or and they go to their school and they find their job and they think they've got life figured out, or they know they don't have life figured out, right? At the end of the day, they forget how hard being a teenager was. How hard it was rethinking the world and the way they think. How hard it was being loaded with a new batch of chemicals and all of a sudden starting to have romantic feelings for others. And you might have had that before, right? But all of a sudden dealing with all these new things all at once. I don't know. I don't know anything. I know 1% of 1%. I'll tell you one thing I know. It's that God saved my life, and my cat loves me. I know those two things for sure. And I can say if my video and my honesty helped you at all, if me just being real helps you, I praise God for that. And to be honest, I don't think there's anything wrong with us disagreeing, with us being at different points of the spectrum or anything. Because at the end of the day, if you're watching this video, it's very likely that you're a human of the Homo sapien variant. It's very likely that you struggle with the same things I do. And it doesn't matter if you're a Christian, a Jew, a Hindu. You struggle with the same things I do. And at the end of the day, it's our job as humans to live, to love, and to figure out why we're here or what we're going to do while we're here. Because this life is finite. I could get hit by a bus tomorrow. So I'm gonna learn like I'm gonna live forever. And I'm gonna live like I've only got today. And that doesn't mean I'm gonna be an idiot. It means I'm gonna be really dang smart. And I'm gonna use all the time I got so wisely. And I'm gonna enjoy it too. I'm gonna live out my faith. I'm gonna help as many people as I can. I'm gonna do as much as I can. I'm gonna love as hard as I can. You have a great night. Really. Do. Have a great night. God bless.